And even after the EU and IMF agreed to second bailout for Greece, dangers of a default still loom ahead. And as protesters rage on in Athens, what is the price international leaders are willing to pay to avoid another global financial crisis? Ruairid Villar of Reuters reports.
On the streets of Athens, protesters are shouting down plans for budget cuts and higher taxes. That's the price international lenders are asking for funds to keep the Greek economy afloat. Without them, Greece will default on its debt by mid-July. And if that shakes confidence in other EU nations like Ireland, it could trigger a global crisis.
The Irish banking system is far more globally interlinked. Losses there could easily amount to about €300 billion. That's when we start to look at, after we've written off €500 billion, into a global financial contagion, with wholesale markets essentially beginning to freeze up, because we'll have to go through which banks have lost the most money. Can they recapitalise themselves?
That's a situation the EU and IMF are trying to avoid. They've agreed to issue an instalment of loans to Greece by early July, provided economic reforms are underway. And now they're pushing for a second bailout package, worth more than €120 billion. But Raoul Ruparel, an economist at British think tank Open Europe, says a Greek default is inevitable, and the longer the wait, the higher the costs of restructuring its debt.
They're never going to have the economic growth and the revenue sustain their interest payments and their debt repayments. That means that they will need to default and that they will need some debt relief in the future. Now, doing it sooner rather than later means the initial haircut, which we believe will need to be around 50% at the current point in time, will be much lower than, say, in 2014, where it would need to be closer to 70%. There are always going to be losses when someone defaults. And it's better to take them now than the uncertainty in the future.
There's a danger that Greece could be on the road to default, with or without a second bailout. But if stumping out a bit more cash prevents a second global financial crisis, it could come cheap at the price for international lenders.